You're good to go.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Public Safety Committee meeting for February 28th, 2023. It's 11:30, and we are meeting remotely via Zoom. With us today, we have Councilman Vincent Polizzi and Councilwoman Bonnie Katz, also members of the Public Safety Committee. John Sander, our city engineer, Mayor Derek Slaughter, Janice Frank, captioners here, and Chris Black from IT as well. And Chief Ongst will be coming along here in just a moment. So we're going to get started. And John, we'll start with you. The first item on the agenda, resolution awarding 4th Street design services to Larson Design Group.
Yes, sir. Thank you very, very much. So what this is the very last block of Lycoming College's mixed use area. Obviously, it's all getting built out either now or this summer. And this is the very last block to be designed. This is 4th Street from Basin to Mulberry. It's a long block. It would face Pine Ridge's second phase of their mixed use area. I put this out for RFP, which you guys have in front of you. I got 9 proposals. Most of them were, just rattle through some numbers: 100,000, 300,000, 140,000, $200,000, 400,000, 300,000, 90,000, $130,000, all for just designing this block. There was one firm who has already done a bunch of this design work, and it's Larson Design Group. It's taxpayers' dollars, so really, I can't really say no to a firm that's going to design this whole thing for 30 grand or 29 grand. So the exact amount for this resolution is to hire a Larson Design Group for $28,925. They'd be doing streetscape design work, full signal replacement design work at Mulberry, and coordinating with the locals in the area, like Lycoming College, Pine Ridge, the city, anyone else, any other stakeholders in the project area. I have full confidence in their abilities. There was really 3 proposals that stood out to me: Stahl Schaefer's, Dewberry's, and Larson's, but I can't really say no to this low price. And I did confirm that it is legit. I did call in to make sure they didn't forget to put a 1 in front of it or a 2 in front of it, but it is legit. So let me know if you have any questions.
All right, I'll open up the floor here. Bonnie, Vince, you have anything?
John, do you
Yes.
think maybe, not John, yeah, John. God, there's 2 Johns here today. John Sanders, do you think
Yes.
the bid was so low because they've already put so much work into this that a lot of the work has already been into the proposals that they
Yes.
didn't have to redo things?
That's 100% why. So what they did was they called me when it was advertised and said, John Sander, we already did a lot of this design work the last decade under the previous administration. I just want to let you know we're going to send in a proposal, but it's going to be really cheap. I said, okay, that's fine. And they did, and obviously it is cheaper than everyone else's. So that's exactly what happened, Bonnie. And I want to add one more thing here. We got 2 grants that are going to fund this. One for about 900 grand and one for 300 grand. So we have $1.2 million for this block. They also, when we put in for the MTF grant, we also submitted for a block on Campbell Street between 3rd and 4th. They're also going to put some safety lighting over on that corridor, Campbell Street between 3rd and 4th. That's also part of this design as well. So thank you.
And with this done, as you said, this is the last portion of the project, and everything is really looking great. It really is. Have you gotten any feedback on businesses or anything being put into that area yet?
Feedback? No, I know that Lycoming College is working with potential renters, but that's not really my place to say.
That's not your, that's not your bailiwick. I understand. I just wanted to know if you
on that a
heard.
little bit if you want. This is Derek.
Sure.
We had a meeting the other day, and both Pine Ridge, Lycoming, and a few others. I don't want to get the cart in front of the horse, but to what John Sanders just said, they are working with some potential tenants for that area to, once the construction obviously is done, for some businesses and others that might be locating there. So don't have any names or anything yet, but I know they are actively pursuing businesses and other tenants in that corridor.
That is going to look so good when that is finished and up and running.
And we had in that same meeting, we discussed the possibility of most likely applying for additional multimodal to continue going east, continue on Willow to Penn, and then continue down Third to Penn and keep going so we can continue the infrastructure in that whole area.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
So having Larson Design really saved us a ton of money on this project, the end of this project, which is really incredible.
That's correct, yep. When we put in for these grants, we have about 1.2 million in grant monies. 10% of it is set aside for design. So we have 120,000, on paper for the design. So this will save us a lot of money. We're only spending roughly 29 grand. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Mayor.
Bonnie, you pretty much covered everything I was going to ask, so thanks. It saves me the time. But
Great minds, right?
I'll just say ditto. All right. I have nothing further to add. Thanks.
John, as you said, we work together nicely and play together nicely.
John, so based in the Mulberry on 4th Street, this maybe is a silly question, but are we talking both sides of the street on 4th Street?
Oh, yes, both sides. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yes, both sides, full streetscaping, new roadway, and there's a very likely possibility that block will go two-way traffic. So PennDOT and Larson Design Group conspired a handful of years ago, and there were traffic studies done. The locals seem like they want two-way traffic there. I know with Pine Ridge's upcoming plans there with a possible parking deck, parking will be no problem. So there's a very good likelihood that last block that we're talking about now will go two-way traffic. Hence the reason for the new signal at Mulberry. But this will be coordinated with local stakeholders in that area, like Cumming College, Pine Ridge, the Sons of Italy, and anyone else along that block, and possibly have public meetings, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
And again, I apologize if this was already discussed in an earlier meeting. This is streetscape only. What about the sidewalks?
Streetscape, sidewalk, lighting.
Okay.
Yep, the whole shebang.
All right, great. I'll just ask it just so we have it on record, but all of these new sidewalks will have the proper ADA compliance with the
1000% yes. That's a
okay,
no-brainer.
great.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make I assume so, but I didn't want to not ask the question. So
yep.
Okay. If nobody else has anything, we can, again, just for the record, we just discussed things here now in committee meetings. There's no votes taken. So if nobody else has anything, I still don't see Sam. There he is, right on time. We'll go on to the second item on our agenda here, and that's a resolution to approve a change order between the Williamsport Bureau of Fire and Lundy Construction. Chief Unks, welcome.
Thank you. Sorry for being late. Yeah, so last year or 2 years ago, Mark Killian had started a process of getting the kitchen remodeled for fire headquarters. After a long period with Streets and Parks trying to get quotes and everything, we found out that we had to do the bid process. We did the bid, and the financing that we had, I believe, was initially for $27,219. It actually went over because there were a couple things that were left out in the bid process. So let me get where I'm at. Where am I? Sorry. Oh, so the difference, I believe, was 2,000 for what we want to do. We want to add a cabinet and a counter for the coffee area. We're changing the countertops, which we are going to quartz countertops instead of the Corian. That saves us about $300 And then we are putting, we didn't have budgeted for an epoxy or for a backsplash. And what we're looking at is the cheapest route, which is an epoxy paint backsplash area. And that would be, that adds $956 to it. The cabinet for the coffee area added $2,275 to the project. So that would be what, 2,931, $2,931. Is that right? Renee's calculating it. Sorry. Yep, $2,931 is the difference. So we're asking for a change order to add $2,931 to the original quote of $27,219. That's not right either. So that makes,
It makes it grand.
I apologize. That makes a grand total for the project of $27,219 as opposed to the $24,288. Sorry about that.
No worries. Okay. Vince, Bonnie, anything to add?
Chief,
No.
I'm happy that you went to the courts
Pardon me?
countertops. I watch HGTV and court seems to be the better route to go as far
Yeah.
as maintaining and maintenance.
Yeah, and
I do have a stupid question to ask. I know that the kitchen has been there for umpteen years. The cabinets probably were in no shape to donate anywhere.
No, they're in pretty poor shape.
Just wanted to clarify that for the public because this is the first remodel in how many years, Chief?
Well, when I got hired in 92, I believe it was 94 when the administration came from City Hall back to headquarters, and we had to do a major remodel. So that was 30 years ago this year.
About time for a redo, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
And some of the increase probably would be the increase in the supply chain also, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and that was a big thing as well. If we didn't get it approved by March 1st, there was I think she said a 15% increase. And that's just in the products.
Okay, and also looking at from Monday's page, it says that the permits are not included in this at all.
Correct.
Cost of the permits,
Correct.
right? That's coming out of what part of the budget?
That would come out of facility maintenance, yeah.
Just wanted to clarify that for the public.
Yeah.
My only other question I have, and I'm not familiar and understand this, what is epoxy paint backsplash?
So
It's just
my
painting?
understanding- Yeah, it's a two-part paint, so it makes it I don't want to say impenetrable, but it's almost like a plastic paint, if you will. So like I said, it's a two-part paint and they mix it. And then when they put it on, when it dries, it becomes pretty impenetrable. So it's more like a plastic.
So it's sustainable that we don't have to worry about redoing this in the near future then, right? It'll last for a while.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I don't have any other questions.
And also, Mrs. Katz, that includes the prep for
Oh,
the
okay.
backsplash.
If I could jump in real quick, Chief, thank you for breaking that down. I have the paperwork in front of me, and when I initially read through it, I had thought that you were asking for a change order in addition in the amount of $27,219. And I'm sitting there going, how is this happening? So I for one appreciate very much the explanation. No, and again, keeping in mind the taxpayers of the city and how best we can stretch the dollar and get the most value out of what we spend. I completely agree with you on this one. And to Bonnie's point, I watch a little HGTV myself. The quartz, I think, is definitely the better way to go. It's high heat resistance. It's a lot more durable. It'll certainly stand the test of time. For a firehouse full of gentlemen, ladies, possibly even,
Non-chefs.
that may not be the most delicate with it all. So I feel a lot better knowing that we're going to have those. And the epoxy paint, yeah, that was probably the best way I could have thought to explain it. It's really, really tough.
Yep.
So, yep. So I think this is definitely a good investment.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. That's all I have to add.
And Sam, you said this was originally brought forth by Chief Killian.
Initially, the
Initially,
idea of
idea
having
was.
the kitchen remodeled was started by Chief Killian. But now we, last year, I think it was around this time last year, Scott Jolan from Streets and Parks came and said, hey, I've got this guy coming in to look at the kitchen. So he had to explain it to me that Killian had started this project, and he's just trying to follow up and get quotes, and we only ever actually got 2 quotes, or he was able to get 2 quotes. And then when we found out we had to put it out for bid, we only got 2 bids. So Lundy came in far under the other bid.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be my next question, was it's put out for bid, and did you say where's this 27,219 coming from?
That's coming from facility maintenance.
Okay. Yeah, no, great. I mean, as somebody who's recently spent a fair amount of time at fire headquarters, that the kitchen definitely needs some work. And when you think that, Sam, could you remind me again, at any given time, how many firefighters do we have in there using that kitchen, eating together, preparing meals?
At any given time, anywhere from 7 to 10.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are the guys that are standing by, ready to keep us safe. So to give them a proper place to prepare meals for each other and spend some time together is important. So I don't have anything else to add. So Bonnie and Vince, are you both?
I don't have any other questions.
Great. All right. Then we'll move on to the final item. The third item, I should say. This is a resolution authorizing the purchase of ORF Fusion anti-spam solution from Cleverbridge. Mr. Black.
Good morning, everyone. Like the description says, the software is called ORF Fusion. It is sold through a company called Cleverbridge in Chicago, Illinois. I had originally budgeted $1,375 for this, and we were able to get it down to $576. This is a yearly fee that has not been renewed since before I was here, and it comes out of contracted services.
Okay, Bonnie, Vince.
Chris, you said the $576 in the resolution is just for this year. So are you assuming this is going to go up in price next year?
More than likely. Actually, it's going to go up another 15% if we don't order by, if we don't order by March 23rd, it goes up to $800.
Wait, $800 more.
No, a total, the 576 goes to $800 if we don't order by March 23rd. So
Okay,
next year
okay.
will more than likely will be $800, if not more.
Gotcha. I know I get a lot of spam at times on my phone, and you're constantly going after it, with the emails and everything else. So I think this is perfect, especially with, we know how this can be so troublesome and create havoc. So
Oh, yeah.
I see no problem with this. I have no other question.
Chris, I applaud you being able to negotiate the price down. And somebody that enjoys a good heckling or haggling, sorry. That thank you very much.
It
So-
helps when you say we're just a itty bitty town, so.
So far, yeah, thank you very much again.
Sure.
I appreciate it. Again, we need to try and work on stretching every dollar that we have. So I appreciate that very much. John, I have no questions.
Okay. Chris, I know you and I have spoke about this privately, so I don't know if this is a good time to bring it up or not, but so on Thursday, you're going to be running the city council meeting behind the board, keeping the Zoom going, keeping everybody's mic levels where they need to be. But at some point, you're going to have to get up and present this to city council, which will leave no one behind the board.
Yes.
I guess I'm just curious to hear your thoughts, maybe Bonnie, Vince. This is just something that just came to my mind. And again, Chris and I spoke about this briefly a couple weeks ago, that maybe we need to look into finding at least one other person, if not two people who are capable of doing what Chris does at the meetings, in the event that he might need to be up there 2, 3, 4 times in a row presenting stuff to us. I mean, I understand this is part of his job duties, and but
I don't know if it would go under my job duties other than the listing of other duties as
right,
assigned.
sure. So maybe I spoke out of turn there. So
I do know that Chris Cooley was first hired to do nothing but these meetings.
yeah,
And then after Mr. Ray left, he moved over to doing, basically what I'm doing plus the meetings.
right.
Now, as for this Thursday, I do have Sean Bastion coming in to run the soundboard and so forth. It's just that he's not always available. And for him, it's also overtime for him to be in there.
Right.
So I don't know if we want to go to, an outside source or what have you to do, to take care of this.
Yeah, and again, this was something I thought this would be a good time to bring it up, Bonnie, Vince. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the matter, or if you don't, that's fine. Maybe just something to think about, and maybe something the full body council just needs to maybe discuss at some point. So yeah, I don't know, Vince, Bonnie.
John, I've always thought that we should have another person on IT. How many times have I brought it up that I know Chris could probably attest to this, that, he spends a lot of time in the police department. There's so many other aspects in the city that need IT attention. And one IT person cannot handle everything that needs to be done. And so I've always been one to say that we should have another person. I don't know what they ever had at RBT, but backups, one person. What if Chris gets sick and he can't be around? There's, as you're saying, yes, there's Sean, but then we're paying overtime. He's good. God love him, he's good.
Oh, yeah.
But there's so many other things to be done with IT, especially in this day and age. And that's my feelings. So therefore, if we did hire another person, it would not only behoove if Chris had to get up and make presentations, but it also help him in also the aspects of what goes on throughout the city and everything that's needed for the city.
And I'd like to be able to participate more at the council meetings. I mean, being stuck behind the board, for me to say anything, I got to get up, go around, get in front of a couple of cameras just to get to a microphone to do anything.
Well, over the years, the one thing that I did find, which, so many people just assume if you say IT, that you're knowledgeable in every aspect of what goes on with computers and the wirings and everything else that goes on with IT. But everybody has their way, their highway, their lane to be in. I mean, you can't be expected to do websites and also do IT maintenance and things like that. There's different things for different people. And it's difficult I think, for somebody to comprehend all of that and to maintain all of that. So, it's a huge job for one person. Anyhow, I'll get off my pedestal now.
No, stay there, please.
I'll give you my 2 cents. And at first, yes, I definitely think this warrants future discussion throughout all of us. The only thing I would like to, that my mind's going toward right off the bat is with Williamsport already being financially as stretched as thin as we are, before we look to essentially hire someone that we would incur more payroll to have to pay the expense of it, I think it would be in our best interest possibly to reach out to one of the local universities or colleges first to see if there's any technology students that are looking maybe for some real world work credit or potentially an
I'm gonna
internship.
jump in right there. Being a one-time shop, I don't have the time to ride herd over an intern
Okay,
and train them and show them the ins and outs within the 6 weeks course period that they might be here, just for them to get cut loose then, when their internship is done.
okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yep, I understand what you're saying. But I guess I'd want to see what other opportunities, Chris, and I know how much you do. You do an awful lot. But I'd like to just see what other opportunities that may be out there that would be more cost effective for us.
I mean, there are MSPs in the area that we could look at hiring. Again, though, that's giving credentials to somebody outside the organization, which I'm a little leery of.
Yep, I agree. I would be leery as well. So again, that's why I said I think this definitely here and now isn't the time, but I think this definitely warrants future discussion. Oh
Yes,
yeah.
thank you.
Vince, I think we have to also look down the line that, everybody wants to digitize everything that we have. And, where would that lay? That would lay in the IT's hands to make sure that that's done correctly and everything. I think we have to, I know we have to be careful where we spend our money, but we also have to be smart with where we spend our money. And if we're going to digitize, and Lord knows everybody is going in, has been going in that direction. And, that's one area that probably maybe we can, add on to the IT person to clarify and see how we can do that the best way and the most economical way to do that. Because I know the mayor really wants to accomplish that. I think anybody wants to accomplish that. So, it's that, and I know, we have, like I said, we have to be careful. And Vince, I agree with you thoroughly that, we don't want to jump on this with 2 feet and say, okay, we're going to do this immediately. We really have to analyze and see where we're going. But I think we also know the world is computerized, and it's vitally important to make sure it runs smoothly.
Yep, I agree. Again, like I said, I'd like to sit down and have a much more in-depth discussion on this. So I definitely like the idea of redundancy. We definitely have to have redundancy for these kinds of things. So, but
Yeah, I'd like to take a vacation sometime too.
all right, that's all.
Okay. All right, great. Well, I would say then we have now covered agenda item number 4, which is any related items.
Well,
So
if I may, real quick, John, I'm sorry to
sure.
interrupt. And again, I'm gonna jump out here real quick, seeing as how this is the Public Safety Committee. And I know it's not my place, but I know all parties that were involved. John, yourself, Chief Ungst, yourself, Chief Snyder's not here with us. Assistant Chief Bolt, Assistant Chief Lucas, they're not here with us. But as it was made public that there was an occurrence at UPMC recently. And I just want to come out. And again, I know that all of you involved are modest and humble enough that you won't say it publicly. So I will, as a city resident, and then also as somebody that has the privilege of working with you guys, that I would like to thank you publicly, as I think every single person in our city should thank you for what I saw to be a seamless effort and coordination for what happened recently involving the mobile emergency unit. I believe that's the official term of it, correct? The official title. Chief, you're muted.
Sorry about that. It's the IMU, the incident mobile unit.
Yep. Well, I just want to publicly come out and say thank you to every single one of you. It was a late night. I know some of you were up until the early morning hours and had to get up very early, that following morning. I know. I think I woke some of you up with my phone call. So again, I just want to say thank you to you two, but then everyone else involved. And if there's anyone that I forgot to mention by name, I apologize, but just know that I greatly appreciate every single thing that you guys are doing, as I'm sure everybody else does. So thank you.
Vince, I want to add on to that. I agree with you so totally. Our city did a wonderful job. Our first responders in our city were incredible. But also thank you, Vince, because I know you supplied some refreshments, which I think was probably well needed at some point in time.
We're all in this together, right? There's no I in team. No, but thanks.
That's for sure.
John, that's all I have to say, buddy.
Great. And yeah, thank you again, Vince, for the refreshments. That was much appreciated by many people that were down there. Okay. Bonnie, you have anything else?
Nope,
No?
I said it all today, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's the case, I'll take a motion then for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll see everybody tomorrow. What is today? Tuesday. We'll see everybody Thursday night.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
All right.